What up, what up, what up? It's your girl Quiana LaChé and we are back with another video, and I'm super excited because I'm actually going to be sharing with you how I raised my credit score by 200 points. Yes, because your girl's credit was jacked and we need to do something about that. The thing about credit, I don't think that enough of us entrepreneurs really dive deep into that topic, even though I feel like having credit is good, because as a business owner, there's gonna be times you're gonna need to make investments. You're gonna need some monies. You're gonna maybe need some monies you ain't got in the bank. And if you don't actually have the means or a way to actually access funds when you really need them, building your empire is going to be a little bit harder than you would like for it to be. So I'm just going to share with you the 5 things that I did that actually helped to boost my credit score by 200 points. So let's get started. So the first thing that I did was I actually organized my debts by what I owed the most to the least. And I decided to start with paying the minimum balance on all of the debts except for the smallest one. And so for that, I would then pay more. So let's say the smallest debt that I had was like $250, and let's say the minimum required payment was $25. Well, then instead of paying the $25 every month and knowing that it's going to incur interest every month and kind of go back up a little bit, I decided, okay, well, you know what, let me put $50 here, $75 here, whatever the case may be. And there was a little bit of a side thing that I did. Now, I've gone through Dave Ramsey's book and it's good. But one of the things that I also had to recognize is what is a store card versus what's like a regular credit card. A regular credit card, we're going to continue to use. A store card, we don't have to use. I don't have to use my Victoria's Secret card. I don't have to use my Kohl's card. A credit card, that's a bit different because, again, if there is a program, a course, you know, a coach, mentor, whatever, something that I need to invest in, I can't use my Victoria's Secret or Kohl's card to pay for those things, right? So I also kind of made note of, okay, well, if I pay this off, is this something that I can like keep off for a while, versus a credit card is something that I'm more likely going to be using every month, if not every other month. So I thought about that as well. So just paying off the smallest one, and then once I paid off the smallest debt, whatever I was paying for that smallest debt, I then would begin to apply to the next smallest debt. So we began to create that snowball effect and being able to pay stuff off a lot quicker than what we assumed we could. Now, the next thing that I did is I actually created a very detailed budget. Like, I live by my budget. I check my budget 4 or 5 times. Like, I probably check my budget like every day, along with my credit. If you're not checking your credit often, I need for you to do that. But I created a very detailed budget, and I'm actually going to do a separate video on how I actually set this entire budget up, because there is some extra moving parts in there. But with me creating a very detailed budget, it truly allowed me to see where my money was going, where my money needed to go, where I could shave money off of. So for example, getting my hair done. Maybe one month I need to not go get the fly weave for $300+, and maybe I need to settle for something a little more simple. You know, sometimes we gotta make those sacrifices. Or maybe sometimes, you guys know, Quiana likes to get her nails done, okay? Pull up a video within the last year where Quiana's nails weren't done. We don't do that. But that doesn't mean that I can't get something basic for a month or so. And then when I'm right, I can go ahead and start putting the jewels and the bling bling back on. So, you know, it's, to me, I don't feel like you should have to give up how you live, because then that's when we start to create like resentment and stuff, and then we get in like this negative, nasty mood. I don't want anybody to have to do that, but it's just being realistic about where you're at financially. So I have actually 3 budgets. I have a household budget, I have a personal budget, and I have a business budget, and it's all within a very nice organized spreadsheet where everything is calculated and everything adds up, and it tells me how much I have left over and all those things, where I'm then able to go in and the debts that I do have, they're categorized based on, you know, household, personal, or business. And then I'm able to say, okay, well, you know, I can put this much, I can pay this much on this debt. How much is that gonna leave me in my budget? I am someone, I need to have wiggle room. Quiana does not like to not have wiggle room within the budget, because you never know, I might go to Marshall's, I might see something I like, I get it, I like it, I want it, I buy it, Ariana Grande all day. So then the next thing that I did, which we kind of already talked about, is I would pay more on my debts. Now again, the goal was to at least start to bring down the smallest debts and get that paid off. But again, with me having such a detailed budget, I could look and say, okay, you know, I can pay more on this smallest one, but I can also pay more on maybe 2 or 3 other debts. And when I would do that, and they would then report to the credit bureaus, my credit score would always increase. It would always increase, because it's like, okay, we're paying it down, we're paying it down. One of the things that I actually do, especially for like any of the lines of credit that I have debts in that incur interest, which is like all of them, I would then begin to include the interest from the month before in the payment. So it would be the minimal payment plus whatever the interest charge was from the month before. Because again, it took me some time to realize that this was happening, where like I had something I was paying like $50 a month, but then only like 20 of them dollars was actually going to the debt itself after the interest and stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure I've been paying a lot more. So once I realized that, I was like, okay, we got to make a change. We got to make a change, because we're trying to get these debts done and over with, honey. Okay, done and over with. So that was definitely a game changer for me, was to make sure that I was actually also doing the minimum plus whatever the interest was from the month before. Now, the next thing that I kind of focused on doing was getting credit limit increases. This kind of happened by default with 2 lines of credit that I have, and when it happened, Credit Karma. I like to just look at Credit Karma. It makes me feel better. I look at it like every day. But I would notice like, oh, I got a, you know, a $500 credit limit increase, and my credit score would be like, shing, you know, going up. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's how this works. That's how this works. Okay, that's good. That's good. So I also like applied for other lines of credit. I don't have too many, so I think all in total I have about 4 lines of credit, which is fine for me, and they're growing. I also make sure that if I'm going to get a store card, and I only actually have 2 store cards, that I'm getting store cards from places that I know that I'm going to shop at. Right? I know that I'm going to go to Kohl's. Kohl's has amazing coupons. They got deals. Matter of fact, this weekend, there's a $40 memory foam pillow that I can get $15. I'm going to get that this Saturday. So, and charge to the card and then just pay it off, right? Pay it off. And that's like a little side tip that I didn't actually put in my notes, but like, if the balance is really low, just pay it off. Just pay it off. Just pay it off, girl. Pay it off. Just don't even, my thing is this, if you spend, let's say, $40 on your card, and you feel like you are going to struggle to pay down that $40 the next month, I think that you really need to evaluate if you truly need the item that you are buying. Is this an impulse buy? Is it just like, ooh, I want this? Do I need this? Like, I believe in treating yourself, but let's like do it within reason, right? Let's do it within reason. And the last thing that really helped me to get my credit score up 200 points was to start removing items off of collections. Look, there was a time I went to the hospital. I was living in Georgia. I had to go to the hospital. They said, you got a cyst on your ovaries. We gonna have to do surgery. I was just like, oh my gosh, I've never had surgery before. I'm gonna die. Like that, you're in pain, like it's just like, I'm in pain, surgery, done. That was my whole thought process. And I was in the hospital for like 2 days, and eventually, after they starved me and wouldn't let me eat until a specialist checked me out, but they didn't have a specialist in the hospital, the specialist came and saw me, and she said, oh, it went down. You don't need surgery. You can go home. And they sent me home alright, with a big ass bill. And I'm like, I'm not paying for this because y'all told me I had to stay. You starved me. You gave me some crackers after like 36 hours. Some crackers. Oh my gosh. And then you tell me I don't need the surgery anymore. Why am I paying you? I'm not doing that. No. So, obviously I went into my collections like that's not fun to have all these things in collections. I also didn't know that, you know, when removing items from collections, you actually have to have them removed individually from each credit bureau. So it might come off of TransUnion and it could still be on Equifax, which is really annoying, by the way. It really is. But nonetheless, I sought the help of a credit repair company. I actually only paid them $69 a month. I think at some point I was paying $89, but I'm loyal, so. But they have been absolutely amazing in getting things off of my credit report, especially the collections. I told them that was like the most important thing because I'm thinking in the future, I'm getting married, I'm gonna want to buy a house with my husband. I wanna make sure that like, when we're going into this, we ain't got issues. And they have been very, very great. I'll actually link to the company below. I believe that if you do decide to sign up, just mention that I sent you and they'll actually give you a very hefty discount on your first month, which is actually how I got in because I actually had a friend who went through the same company, and just because I meant, like, she didn't get anything, like we're not getting paid to send people to them. We're sending people to them because they actually work, but it's really nice that they actually do that for you to help you get started. So those are the 5 things that I did to help boost my score by 200 points, and I'm so proud of myself. And we can only keep going up. We can only keep going, well, we can go down. Never mind, this is credit. We can go down, but the goal is to keep going up. So I hope that this was helpful for you. If you like this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe because the next video I drop is gonna be all about actually creating that super detailed, comprehensive budget. So that way you actually know where your money's going, you know where your money is supposed to go. You ain't at the end of the month broke as shit, confused, complaining and crying about where your money went. Anyways, I'm Quiana LaChé, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video.